Alrighty, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and Happy New Year to you all. I hope that 2014 treated you all quite nicely, and I hope that 2015 is even better. Now, I've been gone for about a month, and I genuinely feel bad about that. You know, a month is too long. A week is like optimal. That's the perfect amount of videos that I would like to pump out, is like one a week. Maybe one or two videos a week is perfect. And that's really what I want to do this year. That is my New Year's resolution, to make more videos, more content that you all want to watch. So I want to do more reviews. I went and saw Dumb and Dumber 2. I saw the latest Hobbit movie, so the last one, and I didn't review them. I was driving home and I was like, I gotta do these reviews, and it never came to fruition. So I really want to do more reviews. I want to do something new to this channel, which would be movie nights. So I want to watch like one or two Blu Rays in a night, and talk about them and just kind of have like a good time, kind of like a 10-minute video, just kind of reviewing two movies that I watch. Also on Netflix, because Netflix, there's so much on Netflix, and there's a lot that I haven't seen either. So there could be times that it's like, let's just watch some really bad B movies, or really bad, like, just horrible movies, like Sharknado, something like that, like a horrible movie night. I think there could be some fun stuff there. And obviously, the main reason why we're all here, Blu-ray collection updates. So before we get into this, I want to make a few new rules to my Blu-ray collection updates, and I haven't done one for about over half a year, so I'm quite due, I know. But I want to include DVDs, because there's some shows or movies that aren't on Blu-ray yet, and we're not sure if we're ever going to get them, so I do still pick up the odd DVD if the Blu-ray isn't available. So I want to include those, and I also want to only talk about, I don't like talking about something that I haven't seen yet. So like, I picked this up, I haven't watched it yet. I don't mind if it's something like, I picked up a bunch of movies on Black Friday and I show them all to you because I just picked them up, because it's like, oh my god, I paid like nothing for these. That's kind of fun. I'm going to continue doing that. But I really, for collection updates, Blu-ray collection updates, I only really want to talk about things that I've seen. So right here is actually a bunch of things that I picked up in since my last Blu-ray collection update that I haven't watched yet. A lot of it is recent, so like I haven't been holding on. Some of them I have been holding on for over 6 months. It happens. So this is my watch list. So there's quite a bit of stuff that I still need to watch, and so there's going to be enough collection updates for the next little while. And there's also going to be other stuff that I'm going to be picking up. There's stuff that I already want, so don't worry about that. There's lots of content. But this is what I have watched in the last little while. This is the real collection update here. So let's start it off with some TV shows, and that would be Person of Interest. I picked this up over the summer. And this is starring Jim Caviezel, who I really enjoy. And the main premise of this show is that these two characters, this one right here, Harold Finch, I don't know the actor's name, but he's awesome. I've never seen him before, but he is in Lost. But I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. Anyway, he created this machine that can get into anything that's connected to the internet, basically. So, or just anything, any piece of technology the machine can get into and use it to spy on people, to figure out if they're going to commit a murder. So they'll come up with a number and say, okay, this person is either going to be part of a crime or commit the murder, and they never really know which, because the machine only gives them the person. So it's a really interesting show, and it's kind of also about like how the government also is probably doing this. Like, yeah, they're probably using cell phones to track stuff and do a lot of illegal stuff, but it's cool in that way. And you also have a lot of politics that go with that, but only in the terms that the government is like really, you can't trust the government. So it's nothing like, liberals and stuff versus, don't worry about that. There's no parties or anything like that. So really good show. It's like a cop show, but like a little bit different, because they get a case and they're outside of the law. And Jim Caviezel plays John, who is like an ex-soldier who basically is hired by Harold Finch, who's like a billionaire. So they have money, they can do whatever they want, and they're under the radar. So it's a really cool premise. And I picked up season 1, 2, and 3 all on Blu-ray. Season 1 is definitely my favorite. It didn't look the clearest though. Season 2 and 3 look phenomenal, and I'm currently watching season 3, so I'm not done yet. But I'm really digging the show. I did enjoy season 1 more. The only thing I think is hurting the show for me is the biggest thing anyway. There's always a few flaws here and there, but it's the character root. I cannot stand her character. I understand that there's a purpose for her character, but I hate her and I don't want her on the show anymore. I really don't. Like, I know that sometimes there's a villain that they're in there so that you can see them finally go down. I don't care about that. I just want to see it done because you're ruining my show. Anyway, that was just my little rant. Had to get that off my chest, and it feels better now that I have. Next up is another TV series, if you like cop shows as well, and this is called Blue Bloods, starring Tom Selleck and Donnie Wahlberg, so Mark Wahlberg's brothers in this. And when he gets angry, he sounds exactly like Mark Wahlberg, which is part of the reason why I love this. But it's a family of cops. Tom Selleck is the father. He's the police commissioner. His father is still like alive, and he was the ex-police commissioner. His two sons that are still alive. You learn right at the beginning that they had a third son who was a cop, but he got killed in action. So Donnie Wahlberg plays his eldest son that's an investigator. His youngest son is a rookie cop at the beginning of the show anyway, and his daughter is a lawyer. And so they're all part of, cops, and it's a very cop family. And it's really, I like this show. It's a very cop type of show, and I love Tom Selleck and Donnie Wahlberg too. It was really fantastic. So I really do enjoy this show, and my girlfriend hadn't seen it, so we picked up the first 3 seasons. I rewatched them all over again, and we still need to pick up season 4. But we're all caught up with the show. Like, we're currently watching season 5, which is airing right now. Alright, that's all for TV shows. Next up is the Grand Budapest Hotel. I did a review for this 6 months ago when it first came out on Blu Ray, and it's fantastic. This is a Wes Anderson film, so you know what you're getting into. If you like that kind of humor, this is amazing. This might be my favorite Wes Anderson film. The cast in this is insane. Look at that. I'm going to wait for it to focus if my hand stops shaking. There you go. It's insane. A-list cast. So a lot of them are cameos, but still, it's just so nice to see somebody pop up and you're like, oh, that's that person. That's kind of cool. The script is fantastic. The acting is great, and the way it's shot is. Wes Anderson is a great director. That's all that needs to be said. Watch a trailer. If you laugh at the trailer, you're gonna laugh at the movie. I guarantee it. Next up is Godzilla. I picked up the Steelbook for here. And a minor note on Steelbooks. I have so many things to talk about because it's been so long since I talked about other stuff other than reviews, and I probably should do other specific topics on this channel. Anyway, Steelbooks. I only really like picking up. I love Steelbooks, but a lot of Steelbooks are very boring. Sometimes it would be like the entire case, for example, could be black, and all you would see is Godzilla, like the title. And that's good. Like, some Steelbooks are like that, and it's like, that's so boring. That's so boring. I'd rather have something, like this, or better, something like this that shows the characters or something, just something, than just the title. It's very boring. So this is fantastic because it's a really nice red. It's vibrant. It catches your eye, and it's Godzilla, his form. I don't need to see Godzilla himself the entire thing. Just something cool like this. The back is even nice. But this is something that they would show for the front cover of a Steelbook, and then the back would just be nothing, and it would be like Godzilla. Yep. I don't want to pick up a Steelbook like this. I want the Steelbook case to be nice. That's part of collecting. I like collecting what I like and what I like to see. All right, next up is, Godzilla. I did a review for that, but it's a giant monster film, but you only see Godzilla 1/3 of the movie, so at the end is when you finally see him. The build-up is quite nice. I like the build-up, but it can be slow, but I've really enjoyed that movie. Next up is Lincoln Lawyer with Matthew McConaughey. McConaughey is fantastic in this, and I love any show that has lawyers and quick thinking lawyers, because when they're at the top of their game, man, they know what they're doing, and I love the clash of smart people trying to upstage each other, and lawyers just know every nook and cranny of the law, and they use it against other people, and they use it for themselves. It's cool. I like that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed Lincoln Lawyer, and he's a lawyer. He gets a new client who says that he's not guilty for this, and you don't know if he is or not. And McConaughey's trying to figure it out. Really good movie, and he has to. It's good. And this is 2011 that this came out. McConaughey is on a roll now, but I could tell from a movie called Two for the Money with Al Pacino, which is not the greatest movie at all, but from that movie I was like, McConaughey has potential. He should stay away from those romance movies and get into some serious roles like this. Time to Kill is another one that he was in early in his career. That's another good movie where he's also a lawyer. Next up is The Fugitive with Harrison Ford, a classic. If you haven't seen this, check it out right now. If you like Harrison Ford, this is one of his best action roles that's not related to like a series like Indiana Jones or Star Wars. It's just, it's so, he did not commit a crime, and somebody's framing him, and he has to figure it out, and he escapes, and he's on the run, and it's so well done, and it's so easy to root for Harrison Ford, in my opinion. It's just like he's so natural, you just want to root for him right away. And next up, there's two movies here that my girlfriend picked up, and they were okay. They're not the greatest movies, but they're okay. I had never seen them before. The A-Team is one of them. It was okay. The ending was a lot better than I expected it to be. I do like Liam Neeson. Bradley Cooper's okay. Rampage. It's really hard to replace somebody as iconic as Mr. T, and having Rampage do it was like, okay, all right. But the ending was better than I expected, but it's still nothing to write home about. You don't have to watch that movie. Next up, kind of the same thing, but I've heard this movie gets so much flack, and so I was expecting this movie to be utter shit, and it wasn't. It was a comedy, and when I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, I know where this movie's going. The Other Women. A lot of people are saying that like this movie is centered to like women power, and it's like for feminists and all that kind of, like they were going extreme, and I was like, no, it's a comedy, and they're just gonna get back at a guy who's like cheating on them. That's all it is. That's all it is. Calm down. It's not great. It's not necessarily good, but it's not bad. Parts are bad, but it serves its purpose. It's a 5 out of 10 movie. It's mediocre. No need to get up in arms about a comedy. A comedy, really? That's women power? A comedy? No, comedies don't go for like specific agendas. Some of them do. It's true, some of them do. The really good ones do that, but this one you could tell was not going to be trying to attempt that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm talking about a lot of things in this update, more so than usual, but don't you like this content? I'm giving you stuff. I've watched all of these so I can talk about them. I like that. I think I can make up for having The Other Women in my collection by having my first Studio Ghibli films. The first one being My Neighbor Totoro, which is... How do you explain a Studio Ghibli movie? I said that... Did I say that I want to start doing anime reviews? Because I think that these are... Anime is just so entertaining. It's a different form of media, but the stories that are there is it can be so good, and it's so different sometimes. I really want to start doing, and especially TV show anime. There's just a lot out there. Once again, kind of on Netflix, so I might start doing more movie nights with Netflix. But I gotta do the first movie night, and I gotta start with Blu Rays. So I'll pick 2 Blu Rays, and we'll go from there, and we'll have a good time. But Neighbor Totoro, I love. Is he Totoro? I assume he is. This was great. He's hilarious. I wish we could have seen more of him, but the music, when the score happens every once in a while, when he uses magic, is so good. I really do think that music can make a movie better, can make a scene better, can really make you have the emotional attachment that you need sometimes. Interstellar is one of them. If the score wasn't there for that movie, the entire Hans Zimmer score, I don't think I would have felt that attached to that movie because I watched it again, and I liked it more the second time. And it's a movie I thought about a lot, and it's the music, man. I downloaded the soundtrack, I bought it from iTunes, and I was like, oh, you had to wait a while. It didn't come out right away. Anyway, not related to My Neighbor Totoro. So that's Neighbor Totoro. Like, it's really hard. Like, these movies, Studio Ghibli movies, there's no real action. It's just like kind of watching characters and seeing what happens, and the crazy, there's always magic involved, so it's cool. Next up is Kiki's Delivery Service, which my girlfriend really wanted, and the only thing that she didn't like was the ending, because apparently the ending that she saw on VHS, there's a different thing, specifically with the cat. If those of you that have seen the movie, and if you know about it, there's something at the end when this in the new Blu-ray version, They kind of go one direction, but apparently in the VHS direction they went in another way with the cat, and I was like, oh, I probably would have enjoyed the original VHS. She also said the music was really different from this one. I didn't enjoy this one as much as Neighbor Totoro. I did enjoy Neighbor Totoro more, but she's a witch, and she has to go to a town and she has to find her thing to do. She decides to start a delivery service. So these movies, they have nothing to do with like action or like a big plot or like a big thriller, not a drama. Like there's no real huge problems, but like it's just watching characters. And it's the sound also, more so in Kiki's delivery service, when she's cooking something, it sounds so real, and you're like, like you hear the fire crackling in the fireplace, and you're like, oh, that sounds so good. And you hear like food being like cooked, and you're like, oh, it's just, yeah, the sound means a lot sometimes. Okay, last two here. One of them is a collection, so I'll talk about that last. Is, I still have the sticker on it, which a lot of people are saying it's a different title. I don't know why. They're pushing it to be called Live, Die, Repeat, but it's actually Edge of Tomorrow. It's Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know why. Like, where is Edge of Tomorrow here? Is it even on the front cover? That's crazy. It's not even on the... Is that just the slip? No, it's the actual thing. Okay, they're trying to push this. It's Edge of Tomorrow. Like on the spine, at least, it says Edge of Tomorrow. But they're trying to say it's Live, Die, Repeat. Anyway, this movie I had not seen when it first came out. I wanted to, but for whatever reason I couldn't. And I had seen Chris Stuckman's review of it, and he really was pushing for it. He made another video where he reviewed the film, and then like right before the first Tuesday, because the movie didn't make a lot of money, he said he really implored everyone to go see it because he says it's so different. It's based off of a manga, and he was saying like really pushing it because we're not going to really see a lot of stuff that is like this because it really is different from the norm, I guess, because like every time that he dies, he comes back to life and he has to relive the day over again, kind of like Groundhog Day, but it feels like a manga, like it feels Japanese. When the things that they're doing, I was like, oh yeah, this does have this Japanese anime feel to it. Anyway, so he was saying it's an amazing movie, so I was getting really psyched when I picked it up, and it's good. It's really good. I would even say great, but I was expecting a little bit too much from this film. I would say it's about a 7 out of 10, worth watching, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Chris Stuckman, I guess, did. But I really do look up to Chris Stuckman, and I generally like the same things that he does. And Jeremy Johns, obviously. Like, there's a lot of YouTubers that I watch, and I respect their opinions. And that's why I really wanted to give this a shot. I'm glad I have it in my collection. So Chris Stuckman, thank you. But I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. But it was, there's some comedy in it. Emily Blunt's pretty badass in it, too. Anyway, last but not least, is Santa Claus, the trilogy. For the Christmas holidays, my girlfriend really wanted to watch these. We ended up only watching the first film, and I'd seen the second one when it first came out. I don't remember at all. I don't remember it as being as good as the first one, and I haven't seen the third one at all. So next year, we'll watch the entire trilogy. But I paid, this is always crazy priced, in Canada anyway. It's like $30, $40, depending on where you go. Like, it's $40 sometimes. So we picked it up, I think, for 20-ish, I think, which we were like, oh, it's a deal, let's get it. I think it was 28, maybe 18, something like that. I was like, oh, let's get it. Because I really enjoy the Santa Claus, the original film. There's just something nostalgic about it, and it's also, it's 90s, and the way that 90s movies work, and 80s movies, there's just something that you don't see, like, you don't see the atmosphere and the feels from an 80s or a 90s movies anymore. Like, the 2000 movies don't have this specific feel. It's like you don't watch a 2000 movie and say, oh, it feels like a 2000 movie. You don't really, there's no feeling attached to a 2000 movie, but there is for 90s and 80s movies, if family movies, or like really iconic movies from back in the day. And they don't even have to be the greatest movies. They just have, I don't know, it's really hard to describe, but there's just something about them. Anyway, the Santa Claus nails it. I wouldn't give the movie a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, maybe like a 7 or an 8. Probably leaning towards the 7, but it's still, I like watching these kinds of movies because it brings back my childhood, it brings back memories of being in the 90s and growing up in the 90s. So I really enjoy that. So there you go, that is my haul for that I've watched in the last few months, but I still have this entire thing over here to watch, And there's actually, I have some Blu-rays in the mail that are coming that I'm going to be watching right away. So hopefully we can get back into the routine of doing more collection updates, and also an entire Blu-ray collection update. Once I have a much smaller list here, I'll do an entire collection update, because I don't even remember what I was at before, but I've got to be pushing 300. Yeah, I'm over like 3. I don't know how many I have. That's why I really want to check it out. So anyway, thank you all for watching. If you stayed with this the entire time, thank you very much. Let me know in the comments below. That would be interesting if you made it to the entire 20-minute video. Sorry about that. Next time I'm going to do a shorter collection and just talk about a few films. Shorter videos are better. And also look forward to the movie nights, because I'm really looking forward to making those. I think they're going to be fun. So thank you all for watching. You've been bearded in. Beardage.